Welcome, Yogis. My name is Sara, and today we're going to go through a flow focusing on the core and the hips. If you happen to have a block that you can use for a prop or a book or a pillow, that might be helpful to place at the very top of your mat today for use later. Otherwise, no worries. We'll begin today in child's pose. So when you're ready from kneeling, go ahead and settle your knees as close or as far apart as feels comfortable for you today. Start to walk your hands forward and rest your forehead down on the mat. Just begin to check in here. Begin to breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Feel the earth supporting you, grounding you beneath your hands, your forehead, your knees, and your hips. Begin to walk your hands over toward the right side of the mat for a little side stretch. Your left hand can come on top of your right for a bit of a deeper stretch. And breathe. Slowly begin to walk your hands through center all the way over to the left. Right hand can come on top of your left. And take a breath. Come back to center. Start to walk your hands in toward your body and come up to kneeling. You can also come to a comfortable seat, whatever works for you today. Sitting back on your heels, let's reach our arms up to the sky and open side body twist to the right. Right hand back, left hand forward. Inhale, come up through center, arms lift, and exhale to the other side, left hand back, right hand forward. Inhale back to center. Go ahead and cactus your arms, elbows bent, 90-degree angle, and really start to open through the heart. Look up. And exhale, release. We're going to meet in tabletop pose. So when you're ready, come to your hands and knees and move through a few rounds of your cat-cow stretches on your own breath. So on your next inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, pull the heart through, and exhale, round in. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, and exhale, round. Come back to a neutral spine and we'll check in with our core straight away here. Push into your hands, push into the tops of your feet, and see if you can hover your knees just an inch off the mat. Continue to breathe. And release. Start to walk your hands forward, hips still stacked over the knees, and come into your puppy stretch. Release the forehead down to the mat. Feel that nice deep stretch in your shoulders. We'll take a version of thread the needle here. When you're ready, reach your left hand through underneath your right until your left shoulder and maybe your left ear touch the mat. Release back to center. Start to walk your hands back into tabletop pose. We'll take that knee hover once more. So when you're ready, push into your hands, push into the tops of your feet, and hover those knees just a bit off the floor. Breathe here. And release. Great job, yogis. Walk your hands forward back into your puppy dog stretch. Keep those hips stacked over your knees. Let's take thread the needle on the other side. Go ahead and reach your right hand through underneath your left, right shoulder and right ear to the mat. Release your hand and come back to center. Start to walk your hands in, return to tabletop pose. When you arrive, go ahead and reach your left foot up between your hands into a low lunge. You may need to adjust the spacing of your knee, your back knee here. Make sure your front knee is stacked over your front ankle and feel a nice deep stretch into your hips. Begin to walk the hands back into your half splits, hands in line with your front knee, straighten through the front leg, and your left toes energetically pointing up toward the sky. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold over your front leg. Begin to walk your hands back to frame your front foot, and we'll come into gate pose from here by walking our hands over toward the right side of the mat. Kickstand your right shin back behind you and straighten out through your left leg, and your left foot will be parallel with the short edge of the mat. Come up to kneel on that right knee and reach your left hand down your left leg as you extend your right hand up and over into a nice side body stretch. From here, we'll move into a modified side plank. Bring your right hand all the way down to the mat and reach your left hand up and over, bicep by the ear. Your left foot still engaged and on the mat. Now begin to lift your left foot up off the mat to hover. And we'll take a few knee taps from here. On your inhale, reach long through the tips of the toes to the tops of the fingers. And exhale, tap your left knee and your left elbow. Inhale, extend, and exhale, tap. Once more, inhale, extend, and exhale, tap. Inhale, extend, and go ahead and release your left hand down and come into tabletop pose facing the back of the mat. Go ahead and take a round of cat-cow here on your own breath. I always enjoy how simply facing the opposite way on the mat can just change your perspective so much. Return to a neutral spine, tabletop pose, and go ahead and bring your right leg forward, this time between your hands, and set up for low lunge on this side. Maybe bringing the left knee a bit further back. Just feel into your hips and create a nice stretch. Begin to walk your hands back in line with your right knee for half splits on this side. Inhale to a long flat spine, and exhale, go ahead and fold over that front leg. Remember to keep an energy in your right foot, toes pointing toward the sky. Begin to walk your hands forward to frame your front foot, and we'll go back through gate pose on the other side. Begin to walk your hands to the left side of the mat. Kickstand your left shin behind you, straighten through that right leg and your right foot parallel with the short edge of the mat. Come up to kneel on that left knee, hands to the sky. Right hand down your right thigh and left hand up and overhead. We'll move into modified side plank. Left hand plants down on the mat, right hand sweeps up and overhead, bicep by the ear. Begin to hover your right foot up off the mat, and we'll take those knee taps on this side. So inhale long and exhale knee to elbow. Inhale, extend, and exhale, tap. Inhale, extend, and exhale, tap. Inhale, extend, and bring your right hand down and meet in tabletop pose, now facing the front of the mat once again. Tuck your back toes and send your hips up for your first downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal through the legs for this first down dog. Breathing here, long and strong and straight through the back and through the arms, palms about shoulder width distance. Now we'll roll forward into plank pose and take our first modified vinyasa from here. So for today's class, I invite you to lower the knees in this first plank pose. Go ahead and start to slowly lower your chest and your chin down to the mat, keeping your elbows grazing against your sides, pelvis still up off the mat. Now begin to slither forward into your low cobra. Tops of the feet press into the mat. Chest and head lift. Come back through tabletop pose and up to your downward facing dog. For class today, I invite you to take this modified vinyasa, or you can take traditional chaturanga to upward facing. Just check in with what your body needs today. On your next inhale, right leg lifts toward the sky. Go ahead and bend the right knee and open up through the hip. Return to center and bring your right leg through between your hands. We're going to set up for a high lunge here. So once you feel steady and strong through that right foot, right knee stacked on top of the right foot, come up into high lunge, arms lift, energy through the back leg, and begin to open up into that side body twist. Right hand back, left hand forward. We'll move into Exalted Warrior. Right hand back to touch the back of your left thigh and left hand up and overhead. Big side body stretch and also great for the hips. Big transition here as we open up into our Warrior Two. Bring your hands back up, spin your back heel down parallel to the short edge of the mat. Big bend through that right front knee and open your arms up. Warrior Two. Gaze out over your right middle finger. And inhale, reverse your warrior. Trace a line with your right fingertips all the way up to the sky. And exhale, extended side angle. Elbow comes to the top of your right leg. Left hand up and overhead, bicep by the ear. Let's check in with our core once more by gently hovering that right elbow up off your knee and hold. Great job, yogis. Come back into reverse warrior. Right hand lifts. Go ahead and windmill the hands down, both hands to the inside of your right foot, setting up for lizard pose. Deep stretch through the hips here. In lizard pose, you can stay up on your hands. Your back knee can stay lifted or it can come down to the mat. You can also come down to your forearms for a bit of a deeper stretch. Breathe into your hips. Bring your palms back to the mat if they were not there already, and go ahead and bring that right foot back to meet the left into your plank pose. Move through your Vinyasa, knees, chest, chin to low cobra, back through tabletop, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg to the sky, bend through the knee and open up through the hip. Return to center and step that left foot up between your hands. Set up for high lunge, push into the left leg and come up, arms to the sky. Exhale, arms open up to the left, left hand back, right hand forward. Exalted Warrior, left hand comes back to your thigh as your right hand traces a line up to the sky. Big transition here to Warrior Two. Arms come back to center. Spin down your back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat and open up into your Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand lifts. And exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow comes to the top of your left leg. Right hand swings up and over, bicep by the ear. Check in with your core. Hover your left elbow up off your knee. Hold and breathe. Great job. Release and inhale. Reverse your warrior. Exhale as you windmill your hands down for lizard pose on this side, both hands to the inside edge of your left foot. Try to take whatever variation of lizard you took on the other side. Breathe into your hips on this side. Push into your palms. We'll meet back into plank pose and go through your Vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to upward facing dog. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. From here, roll forward into plank pose and root down through your left palm as you spin open for side plank on the left. Feet can stack on top of each other. One foot can be in front of the other, or your right foot can be planted on the mat for extra support. Right hand to the sky. Really lift through the hips. And exhale, release back to plank pose. We'll move straight away to the other side. Ground down through your right hand. So you lift your left hand up to the sky, rolling onto the edge of your right foot. Whatever foot variation works for you. Keep lifting through the hips. Great job. Come back to center and sit back into child's pose. We'll take 3 breaths here in our child's pose. On your next inhale, begin to look forward, tuck your toes, and meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Go ahead and open up through the hip once more. Exhale back to center. Bring that right leg through between the hands, set up for warrior 2. Push down through the right foot, come up, arms extending. Left foot parallel to the back edge of the mat. Inhale, reverse your warrior, right hand lifts. Exhale, extended side angle, right elbow to the right leg. Left hand up and overhead. Inhale, reverse, this time straightening through the right leg, come into reverse triangle. And we'll exhale, move into our triangle pose from here. Create long space through the spine as you begin to tilt forward, reaching your right hand down to your right shin, the floor or a block, and your left hand up to the sky. See if you can stack your shoulders and begin to slightly move your head and torso back. Maybe look up if that works for your neck today. Now begin to look down. We'll move into half moon from here. So if you have your block at the top of the mat, it should be about a hand's distance out in front of your right foot. We'll slowly begin to transition off of our left leg hovering as we bring our right hand to the block or to the floor and move into half moon. Left hand still lifting, hips facing toward the side, left foot lifting off the mat. Remember to breathe. From here, see how gently you can land back into your warrior 2. When you arrive, if you need to adjust your feet or your stance, go ahead and do so, and then settle into your warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior, right hand lifts. Now begin to straighten through both legs, bringing both feet parallel to the short edges of the mat, and your hands to your hips will come into a wide-legged forward fold. On your inhale, long and straight through the spine, and exhale, lead the fold with your hips as you begin your journey all the way down. When you arrive, your hands can come to the mat. Begin to walk your hands to frame your front foot. Step your foot back into plank and move through your Vinyasa. Knees down, chest down, chin down, pelvis lifted. Slither forward into your low cobra. Come back through tabletop or plank and move into your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg to the sky, bend through the knee and open up through the hip. Come back to center and bring that left foot through between the hands and set up for your warrior two on this side. Big bend through the front knee, back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, arms extend out wide. Inhale, reverse warrior, left hand lifts to the sky. Exhale, extended side angle, left elbow to the top of your left leg, right arm up and overhead. Inhale, reverse, straightening through the front leg into your reverse triangle. Exhale, bring your arms back parallel. And we'll move into our triangle pose from here. Begin to reach your left hand forward and down to your left shin, the floor, or a block. Right hand extending up to the sky. Look up if that works for your neck today. Shoulders stacked. Begin to gently move your head and torso back and feel that nice stretch through your hips. Now begin to look down to your left foot, and we'll transition into half moon on this side. If you use the block on the other side, begin to reach out toward the block as you start to kick off through your back leg, hovering it off the ground, and come up into your half moon, balancing on your left leg this time. Shoulders still stacked, everything facing toward the right. See how gently you can set your foot back down into a warrior two. Once you arrive, be mindful of your alignment and inhale, reverse your warrior, left hand to the sky. Begin to straighten through that front leg. Bring your feet parallel to the short edges of the mat. We'll move into the forward fold on this side, but this time we'll take an arm variation, interlacing our arms behind our tailbone. Before folding forward, take a moment to inhale and look up, long straight spine. And exhale, fold. Maybe your arms come up and overhead. Go ahead and release your hands down to the mat. From here, we'll move into Skandasana on the right side. Begin to walk your hands toward your right leg, bending into that right knee, and come down to rest on your right heel, straightening out through the left leg, left toes very energetic, pointing up to the sky. Maybe your hands stay down on the ground for support and balance, or you can try playing with your balance by bringing one or both hands to heart center. From here, we'll move into the same pose on the other side. So bring your hands back down and begin to slowly walk them over to the left, this time bending into the left knee, settling down onto the left heel, and straightening through the right leg and your right toes pointing up to the sky. Try to take the same hand variation you did on the other side. Feel the stretch through your hips, through your leg. Now pivoting on the feet, we'll bring our hands to the top of the mat and meet back in our downward facing dog. From here, feel free to move through one last vinyasa, or you can meet us in child's pose straight away. If moving through your vinyasa, knees come down, chest, chin, pelvis lifted. Slither forward into your low cobra or upward facing dog. Come back through plank or tabletop, and we will all meet in a wide-legged child's pose. Take a few breaths here in your child's pose. We'll meet in tabletop pose. Look forward and come up to hands and knees. We'll move into cow face pose from here. So bring your right knee to the center of your mat. Tuck your left knee back behind your right and begin to start to sit your hips back between your feet. So you're sitting on the mat with both of your feet alongside of you. Stay here. You can rest your hands on either foot, or if you'd like to take an eagle arm variation, extend your arms out in front of you, identify your right arm, and swing that underneath your left, wrapping once or twice, bending at the elbows. You can stay here or begin to fold forward for a bit of a deeper hip stretch. Begin to come up, and we'll meet in a one-legged forward fold. So bring your top leg out so your right leg extends out long in front of you. Your left sole of your foot comes to the inner edge of your right thigh. Bring your right hand to your left knee and extend your left hand long and up overhead, bending in the direction of your right foot for a nice side body stretch. Plant your left hand back behind you and begin to lift up, push into your knee and your foot to lift your hips up and bring your right arm up and overhead. Hips lifted off the mat. Come back into your one-legged forward fold. Position your torso facing your right front leg and begin to fold over that leg. Begin to slowly come up, bend through the right knee, cross at the ankles, and we'll meet in Tabletop Pose. When you arrive, we'll move into Cow Face Pose on this side, this time bringing your left knee to the center, tucking your right knee back behind the left, and go ahead and sit your hips back between your feet with your knees stacked. If you took the eagle arm variation on the other side, I invite you to do the same on this side. Extend your arms out long in front of you, identify your left arm, and swing it underneath your right, bending at the elbows, wrapping once or twice. Staying here, or begin to fold forward. Gently come back up and extend your left leg out long on the mat, sole of the right foot to the inside edge of the left thigh. Bring your left hand to your right knee and extend your right arm up and overhead, big side body stretch. Plant your right hand back behind you as you push into your knee and your foot to lift your hips up to the sky, and your left hand swings up and overhead. Bring your hips back down. Align your torso over your left leg and begin to fold forward. Now bring both legs out in front of you, bend through the knees, and grab on to the backs of your thighs. Roll back to balance on your hips and come into boat pose. Shins parallel to the floor, long straight spine. Still broadening through the chest. Hands can stay where they are for extra support, or you can release them, fingers toward the front of the mat. Breathe here. Great job, yogis. Release and come all the way down to your back. When you arrive, give yourself a squeeze, knees come in. And we'll come into happy baby. So reach down and grab the outside edges of your feet, soles of the feet to the sky, knees toward your armpits. Breathe into your hips. Now keep hold of your feet as you bring the soles of your feet together into a reclined butterfly pose with your feet still being held. Maybe you bring one foot in closer to you and then the other. Maybe you just hold in your reclined butterfly. Hug your knees back in once more. Grab onto your right leg as you extend your left leg out long. Squeeze your right knee in. And on your exhale, bring your right knee up and over all the way to the left side of the mat for an easy spinal twist. Right arm can extend out. Try to keep your right shoulder grounded onto the mat. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Bring your left knee in, extend your right leg out long. Give your left knee a squeeze. And exhale, guide that left knee all the way over to the right. Extend your left arm out to the side and breathe. Slowly come back to center, and we'll set up for our final resting pose today. Extend both legs out long, arms out wide, palms face up. Maybe begin to close down through the eyes or just have a soft gaze. We'll take 2 breaths here together to end our practice today. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Nothing to do but to give yourself the next moment in stillness. Shavasana. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as your day allows. Thank you so much for joining me today, yogis. Be well. Namaste.